Okay, I finally got that second demo finished. Now I can work on the main game. Oh ho, it's here. Let's see if I can finally do what I wanted to do. It worked! Okay, let's review it.
Oh no, what you gonna do? Something scary is gaining on you. You can run, but you can't hide.
Consider this an unofficial episode for Season 8. I still plan to begin with the 2 movies I already have planned, but for this occasion, I'm going to get an early start by reviewing another Corny movie. This one I had to buy online because even though someone clearly had a ripped copy, they only uploaded a small portion of the movie. Thankfully, I got my grandmother's old VHS player and this little composite video capture device, so now I can actually rip VHS tapes. With that said, let's start by mentioning how this is the second movie in the series, released in 1995. With this, there's only 1 or 2 more of these Corny videos left. One about bike safety, and whatever the values video is about, or if it's worth going over. Will this at least be as entertainingly bad as the rest of them? Let's find out. This is Feeling Scared, Acting Brave, a kid's guide to courage. Immediately, we start with the text crawl. And, oh look, an episode number. The font and color is different, so I guess they just like to experiment. And since this is episode 2, are we finally gonna get an explanation for Corny's parents leaving? Ha! No! Even now we don't get a proper explanation, which means he was abandoned and had his house taken over by a different family. Much like that one abridged video I saw, it starts with Corny being chased by a giant tooth. Oh, feeling artsy today, are we? Anyway, we got the same house as before, same room but different layout, the first appearance of Taryn Noah Smith as John, and also Kate, the girl from the Responsibility PSA, played by Laura Morgan, but also...
Oh, ow, ow! There's something hurting in my mouth!
Hey, you're not Richard Horvitz! No, for this one video that I know of, Corny is played by someone else. In this case, Chris Bono, who might be the same Chris Bono who was once voted the funniest person in Austin? Yeah, I don't know much about him.
I just woke up from a dream where this big, scary thing was chasing me and everywhere, and there's no place to hide it. Oh!
Yeah, that's the last time I show you Timothy the Tooth. Speaking of teeth, though, it seems Corny has a cavity. And get used to seeing teeth. We'll be seeing the inside of his mouth much more later on. This means he'll have to see the dentist. And here's a surprise. John actually has a dad. His name is Dave, and the mom is named Judy, according to the credits. No Dick Van Patten this time. Anyway, even mom thinks Corny should go to the dentist, but John acts like a little jerk by making it sound scary.
The most evil torture of them all.
Well, at least they're getting the funny hallucinations out now instead of later. Dad tries to help.
Strap you down into a big, comfortable chair. Then they shoot a few x-rays. Teeth are gonna come out gleaming and white.
He does not help at all. All things considered, Corny doesn't want to go. Yet he doesn't want to fix his situation by brushing his teeth or cutting down on sweets. Heck, he thinks he can solve most of his problems with his zapper. Which for some reason puts him into old movies this time. Oh, not again. Oh look, they have a vending machine from the 50s, it looks like. And I never imagined they'd dispense more than one product at once. Or have any snacks the school would consider to be unhealthy given who would use them.
Ow! Oh, that candy bites back!
And Corny is certainly a glutton for pain if he can keep eating the stuff. Oh, we got ourselves another teacher, Miss Parsons, played by Donzale Abernathy, who was previously in Night of the Running Man and Camp Nowhere. Her deal in this movie is teaching kids about dental care.
Sorry, I'm late.
Enjoy your trip. See you next fall, Gumby Head.
And this kid, who has no name, is played by Scott McAfee, who happens to play Littlefoot in some of the early Land Before Time sequels. Funny, he's playing a bully character when one of those movies dealt about the problem with bullies. He certainly has a lot of nerve to bully a space alien who came to Earth on a diplomatic mission and could probably jeopardize the safety of the entire planet if it weren't for the fact that the Sarkonians are mostly clones of Corny. Since this courage-based PSA doubles as a dental care PSA, we learn that sugar isn't good for teeth, how eating healthy foods can help with keeping them well, and how we need regular checkups with the dentist to ensure our teeth are still fine. Nothing too demeaning, though it wouldn't hurt to say that it's fine to have sugary treats on occasion so long as you still brush and all that. Oh, and I guess swishing water in your mouth can help too.
Cavities don't like cold water.
It's not the same without Horvitz. At least he can make it sound like an alien child, instead of an adult acting like they think they know how kids act or sound. And guess what? He still snacks on the sugar. Bearing in mind that this is the second video in the series, you would think he'd have a handle on things, but I guess they're individual problems, like bullies who take his Twinkie only to smoosh it onto his clothes.
Corny, you gotta do something about that guy. He's a bully. Are you just gonna stand there, Corny? Yeah, Corny, do something!
Well, all he's capable of is making empty threats about his planet doing something, but Bullyfoot knows he can't do anything. That night, his toothache keeps John up all night, and Corny laments that John doesn't know how it feels to be afraid since he apparently isn't. So he thinks.
Don't be ridiculous. Everybody's scared of something.
Let's see, losing my income, losing friends, getting badly sick, a bunch of things really. Since Corny wants to keep it a secret, John admits that he's afraid of talking in front of class. This is a fair thing to be afraid of since not everyone is comfortable speaking to a crowd, yet schools tend to force you into doing it anyway.
I almost forgot! I'm scared of the dark.
It's not even that dark in there. Anyway, next morning, he totally blurts out to Kate about John's fear. Also, she's a pirate because her report is on Captain Kidd. Sure, why not? As they leave, Judy brings up brushing their teeth, and Corny did not do it, nor does he intend to ever again.
Your teeth are gonna fall out.
Cosmic, then I'll never have to go to the dentist.
Then you wouldn't be able to eat much of anything. Plus, they're going to take you to the dentist tomorrow anyway, so you don't get a say in the matter. At school, they get a visit from a lady in a giant tooth costume. She's played by Eleanor Comegys, who was in an episode of Murder, She Wrote, I guess?
Take your floss and wrap the ends around your middle finger. And as you floss, you can reel the floss through your fingers. Hold it tightly between your fingers, gliding it between your teeth. Hold it away from the gum and against the side of the tooth, scraping it up and down against the side of the tooth like this.
It's going to take dumping out everything he knows about stranger danger to make room to learn how to function as a person.
Oh, Corny. Check your finger, dear. I think you're cutting off circulation.
Uh-oh! She's gonna blow, Captain!
If only. At least he gets brushing down. Corny tries to apologize to John about telling his secret, since on his planet they don't keep secrets. It doesn't seem like it did anything, until after Kate's report where John has to talk about astronauts in the space program. He has trouble until he asks to change the topic to something he's more comfortable talking about, like having friends.
I think having friends is one of the most important things in the world. It's even more important than having lots of money in the bank. Because without friends, who are you gonna play with? Sometimes good friends let each other down. and they wonder if they can be friends anymore. But it's important that they try to stay friends, because a good friend is hard to find.
So not only did he overcome his fear of speaking to a whole class, he seems to have forgiven Corny, though this should be something that happens later given the following scene, in which John dares Corny to do what Kate is doing with her bike. Naturally, Corny doesn't want to and starts biking home when...
Sorry. I'll never dare you again. I know you get hurt. Talk to me. Corny. Corny, get up. This isn't funny.
I don't think he's breathing.
Well, damn, guess we need the power of high tops to revive him now. But he snaps awake because he wanted them to understand how it feels to be him.
I wish the two of you went and dared me to do things that I can't do. Real friends wouldn't do that.
If the speeches were held the following day after this particular scene, then it might have made more sense why John would talk about valuing friendship even after bad things happen. They do at least follow up with Corny being afraid of other things like John and Kate not liking him anymore because he wouldn't take a dare and feels something's wrong with him.
No, there's nothing the matter with you. You're just very smart and you've got a powerful imagination.
I am? I do?
Yeah, and you use your imagination to imagine the worst things that can happen.
Big imagination? Yes. Smart? That's debatable.
John dared me to try a stunt riding bike trick. And I told him I couldn't do it because I knew I didn't know how to do it and I knew I would hurt myself. And then I might break something.
Oh, well, see, you are really smart because you used your common sense. You didn't take a dare where you could have hurt yourself.
More evidence that they are capable of meaningful lessons, like how it's natural to be afraid, but know of times where you'll have to overcome those fears. And I guess they work out the friendship plot anyway because John is willing to have the light on.
I just don't want to go to the dentist.
Don't worry, Corny. I'll be with you. That's what friends are for.
But we're not quite there yet, because there's about 20 minutes left of film and Corny is still nervous. So he tries to zap himself away to this. The hell kind of footage they use there? And why black and white again? For some reason, Bullyfoot decided to wait out on this bike path just to try and take John's bike. When Corny intervenes, Bullyfoot takes his instead. But don't worry, karma is a mother effer.
Hey, come back!
Corny, you gotta do something about that guy. Otherwise, he's never gonna leave you alone. Yeah, he's gotta know you're not afraid of him.
But I am afraid.
Well, as a last resort, fighting back typically does more than trying to reason with them, since many do it to assert dominance. Unfortunately, with our educational system, bullies are often shielded by the adults because they think the bullies have more value than the victims, or they use them to enforce a system that restricts victims from fighting back. And then we immediately cut back to school doing more dental care lessons, so that prompt was pretty pointless.
Surprised at you. I think you're gonna march right down to that principal's office. Corny,
I didn't do anything!
go on now.
Off my boobs! I did not!
And why didn't John speak up for his friend when he would have seen Bullyfoot put the teeth on the chair? Regardless, it works out for him since Corny was able to leave before Dave could pick him up. Though he finds him not long after anyway.
Corny, get in the car.
I can't talk, I'm in a hurry!
Corny, please get in the car.
Can't, Mystery. You don't want me to throw up on your new seat covers.
Corny, your real mom and dad are counting on you to do the right thing here. Don't you know I'm your Earth dad? I wouldn't do anything was bad for you. It's my job to take care of you.
We never see him again after this video. So, more abandonment?
Warning, Dad's going nuclear. The dentist isn't half as scary as Dad is when he gets mad.
All right. Corny, in the car, now! I'm sorry I yelled at you, Corny. I'm not mad at you.
I mean, you didn't exactly go nuclear like John said, but at least you're apologizing.
Fear is the product of our imaginations. It's like a story that we tell ourselves. We talk ourselves into it. Every possible bad thing that can happen to us, we put into our head. Especially when we have to try something new that we haven't tried before.
I make up stories in my head and scare myself. And even though my stories aren't real, I do feel really, really afraid. I just don't know what to do with those feelings, Mr. E. I'm not all that brave.
You know how when you use your zapper, when you're feeling trapped, you just want to zap yourself somewhere far away, right?
Yeah.
Next time you want to do that, right? You just try a little trick. Try acting like you're not afraid. It's like pretending, right? You can be brave. You can be brave by practicing acting brave. All it takes is a little practice.
Again, this is at least decent advice. Of course, when you're older, things get a lot more complicated as your world opens up and you find out other things that can threaten you. But as a kid, this can help ease some of that fear. I cannot answer the following prompt, so let's move to the dentist scene. The nurse gets them prepped and talks about how Novocaine wasn't a thing years ago, which helps numb a lot of the pain.
How many teachers our clients have anyway?
Oh, you mean my munchers. 47.
Wow, you're getting your money's worth today.
Mostly his Earth parents is. I wonder what the insurance rate is for space aliens. And here comes Dr. Dresden, played by Alan Thicke from Not Quite Human, and also, and you thought your parents were weird. He's probably the most important character in this because he's featured on the box art for the VHS tape, hence why he's only in the late part of Act 3.
Open wide and we'll take a look.
You can.
Are you gonna put all those things in my mouth?
I could if you want.
Maybe you shouldn't be making those kinds of jokes to someone who would easily panic in a frenzy. He does go through some of the process that dentists perform when filling cavities, including the Novocaine shot, and needing to use a special light to harden the filling. They kinda skim through this, though I think kids would get the idea given how clear it is. Of course, the doctor has to get him the promise to take better care of his teeth, so when he comes back, they won't have to do this again.
Here we go. Off to the treasure bin.
Treasure bin? Whoa!
Where was that ability when the strangers took you in their truck? He picks out a toy that he says looks like a creature from his planet, and then shortly after, Bullyfoot is dragged in by his mother. John promptly makes fun of him, but Corny attempts to sympathize and offer actual advice. He even gives him the toy he got to help keep his mind off of things. How very nice of you.
Corny, why'd you give your toy to him? Him of all people.
Well, he's not gonna pick on me ever again, because he knows that I know that he's just as big a chicken as me.
So, blackmail. Well, so much for the sympathy thing. So long, Dave. I guess you have an important fishing trip after this.
Dave! Dave!
But during the final scene, as Corny plays on his bike, John returns the toy to him by saying the kid wanted to be friends. Would have had more impact if he did that in person, but hey, for what it's worth, it's still a better outcome than having them be irredeemable like in the Cool Cat videos.
Ha! You guys are the best friends a guy could ever want. Okay, tell you what. Follow me. I dare you.
Oh, and the music video actually plays after the story is done. And wait, 9-inch aliens? Boo!
Something scary is gaining on you. You can run, but you can't hide from that scary feeling inside.
Not too bad, but the first one has the better song. Anyway, that's a kid's guide to courage. Even without Horvitz, this one was about on par with most of the other Capstone Entertainment videos. Meaning they're not that good, but not too bad. practically harmless still. I get a laugh from their attempts to sell us on this one alien exchange student to teach kids things that they'll go through in life, when their mascot is a literal joke. Then again, at least said character is more believable than Cool Cat on certain terms. Also, the lesson about overcoming fear does tie into a lot of the subtopics like going to the dentist, bullying, and the status of friendships based on what you do to each other. And like with the responsibility video, they allow others to at least learn something. I just wish Corny wouldn't be so annoying on some accounts, but we've seen the other videos to know that ain't happening. With this, there's only 2 more of these things left: Bike Safety Camp and Corny's Life on Earth. At the moment, only their parents' guides have any known cover, and I don't know how they play compared to the main video they're meant to follow up on. So until I can find the originals, this might truly be the last time we cover Corny on this show. The internet is a vast place and full of surprises, so we'll see. I hope you stay tuned for what's to come when we begin Season 8, for real. But until then, I'm the Media Hunter. Media's my prey, and reviewing them my way.